Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jack and today I've got a video for you talking about civil service cover letters and supporting statements. In this video I'm going to share with you 3 things that I've learned that have helped me in my applications. Without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. The first tip I have for you is to make sure that you hit every bit of essential criteria on the job advert. You'll find the essential criteria halfway down the job advert, and essentially it outlines all of the things that are required in this job and what they want from the candidate. I would recommend that you copy and paste this into a Word document and then go through each of the points individually and think of examples that you've done previously that demonstrate each of these points in detail. You don't need to use the STAR method at this stage, because what you'll find is that the word count is probably only 500 to 1,000 words, so you haven't actually got the words required to do a full STAR approach. Instead, what you really want to do is pick good examples and then highlight the key things from these examples. For example, what results you had from doing this, etc. If maybe you're a graduate or you don't have as much work experience, try and think of one thing that you've done previously, maybe at university for your dissertation. Pick one project and then try and use multiple angles of that project for this essential criteria. Okay, so imagine that you've gone through, you've thought of some examples for the essential criteria. My second tip for you is be specific. Do not use empty statements such as I am adaptable, or I am a good communicator, or I work well under pressure. Try to avoid these things that I call empty statements and instead be specific with your examples and say how you've done these things in the past. For example, if you're saying that you handle pressure well, give me an example of a time where you've had multiple deadlines and you've had to reprioritize your work. This will allow the person reading your application more insight into the things that you've done in the past and if you're suited for the role. I know we have a tendency to kind of fluff up our statements and say, you know, I really want this opportunity because I want to develop this. However, with such a small word count, a lot of the time I think you should just cut this out and be very specific with your examples, outlining why you think you hit all of the essential criteria and why you're good enough for the role. Because the thing is, when you get an interview later on, which you will, by the way, it will then come out in the interview and you can say, well, actually, the reason I'm applying for this role is because I'm really interested in this and I want to develop that. But at the application stage, you just really want to highlight why you're good enough for the role and why they should interview you. There will be time at the interview to talk about what attracted you to the role and what you're hoping to get out of it. But at this stage, for the supporting statement and the cover letter, try and keep your application specific and to the point. Give them examples of why they should pick you and why you hit all of the criteria, and then have more of a conversation at interview around what attracted you to the role. My final tip for you is to make sure that your application reads well and is simple to understand. We all are notorious for acronyms and overcomplicating things in our daily roles. However, imagine that the person interviewing you doesn't know about your specific company or organization. Try and spell it out for them. I know there's the KISS method where they say keep it simple, stupid. Essentially that, keep it simple and see if you read back through it, does it make sense to someone who's not familiar with the work that you do daily? Also, be sure to use the terms that are used throughout the job advert so that it shows that you have read it and you are being specific to the job advert. I know we said we were only going to do 3, but I think I've got a 4th one that I've just thought of. Ask someone for feedback on your application, particularly if they work in the civil service already and have gone through the success profiles process. Ask them, does the application read well, and do your skills and examples make sense to someone who's maybe not familiar with what you do on a day-to-day basis? Those are my 3 top tips for putting together your civil service cover letters and supporting statements. I hope you found this video helpful. I think generally start with the essential criteria, go through that and make a list of what you've done in your roles previously and how this hits the criteria being asked for in the job advert. Once you've got to that stage, be sure to be specific in your examples and do not waste your word count. The word count is usually 500 to 1,000 words, so it's really not a lot at all. Make sure you don't waste words by using empty statements. Don't make it too difficult for the person reading your application. Imagine that they're reading, 10 or 20 of these. They don't want to have to go away and Google acronyms or look up what a certain term means, unless you're going for an analytical post, that is, like myself, in which case give us more detail than you think we need. My final tip was make sure that you try and get some feedback from someone, even if they don't work in the civil service. Just see if your examples make sense and see if they're understood. Keep it simple, stupid. I guess the final thing I would say is that try not to add anything in from your CV. There's already a section for your CV and additional information. You really don't want to waste word count. You want to be as specific as possible and give the best overall picture of yourself as you possibly can. I hope this video really helps. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me down in the comments below. Other than that, take care and I'll see you in the next one.